Another one of my tasks when we have snow, because my panels are on the roof, I have to come on top of my house and clear off the snow. I have 8 panels. You can't see them because they're covered. 4 on this side and 4 on this side. So I just take a brush and clear it off.
Hey, there she
Hello.
is. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can.
Good, good.
Then I'm gonna walk to where of my driveway to where I get good reception.
You're walking there now? You said?
Yeah,
Okay, cool. There you are.
I'm here. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm here.
There you are. Yeah, you got frozen for a minute. Right. What motivated you to live off grid? This.
Uh, I always wanted to. I've always liked nature. I've always been a person that liked outdoors and being outside and fishing and swimming. Ever since I was a little girl, and I did in high school. I was in ROTC, and I was in a program where they would take you in the middle of the woods, and they would like give you a map and a compass, and you had to find these certain points on the map. And I was really
Mm.
good at that, and I really liked that. And I just always loved being outside, and I didn't know people live like this. But then when I found out about it, I was like, I, you know, it interested me, and so I just started researching. And I don't know. I just I just knew that it was for me. I was a little bit uh worried about what people would think, my
Ah.
family and society.
Mhm.
Uh, but after my experience in 2014, I was like, life is too short, and I just felt like it was the way I had desired to live. I feel like God had placed it in my heart, so I was like, I'm gonna go for it.
So it was a game in ROTC. Is this something all ROTC?
I don't know. I
Okay.
don't know about now, but it's called orienteering.
Okay. Okay.
Orienteering, and basically you have to find the points on the map, and how to prove that you've been to that point is they have certain hole punches
Oh.
and that you put in the card, and your objective is to get to all the points and then get back the quickest. And for whatever
Mm.
reason, I was just good at it. I was the
Mm.
only one of the only girls competing. There were a couple times where I competed and there weren't enough girls competing, so I would have to compete against the boys, and I still did good. I still did good.
So it's cool. Like when I was a kid, I used to dream about the desert, and I don't know why. And I would tell my mom about it. And when I was a kid, I used to tell my mom like, "Oh, we should move to Nevada or to Arizona." And she was like, "I'm not living out there. It's too hot." But like for some reason, like I've always had this desire to do it. And now finally, I'm just like, you know what? I'm leaving Ohio. Like I'm in Ohio, Midwest, and all my family is here. I have family here, and I have family in Tennessee. And my mom is just like, "You're gonna go all the way to Phoenix? Like, why?" And I can't really explain it. It's just a desire, and
Yeah,
I think everybody should live how they want to live. You know what I mean? So,
my family was definitely like, my mom at first, she was a bit worried, and
mm,
of course I understand that, but I think over time she has seen um that this is I'm happy. I'm really happy this way, and she's just like, she tells me, she's like, don't let anybody talk to you and tell you that what you're doing is wrong, because
mm.
you're not going to be happy. She's like, I've seen how happy you are, and I want that from my child. Like, I want you to be happy.
Like when I first started watching your lives on TikTok, when I first heard you tell, because when I was scrolling, I didn't know what I was walking into. I just saw a woman sitting in the woods talking, and you started talking about the tiny house, and I could see the excitement. I could tell you genuinely love it. So I think that's awesome.
Tour. It's an 8 by 18. It was built by Randy Jones from Incredible Tiny Homes. He used reclaimed wood to build it, and I live completely off the grid. It's set up to live completely off the grid.
Um, so like, is there any type of, I guess, like fear at all? Like, does it feel safe? Like,
Yeah, it definitely feels safe. It definitely feels safe. I don't think there's been a time. A lot of people that ask, like, "Are you safe out there?" They worry.
mhm,
I feel more safe out here than I have anywhere else. My girl, like my little one, she can go outside. She can play. I don't have to worry about her. Nobody comes out here. I mean, I do have some neighbors because I am on like a shared property, but I'm tucked off by myself, and so nobody really knows I'm back here except like two neighbors there the closest to me. But for the most part, like nobody ever comes back here.
mm.
They just I don't know. I don't feel like I said we've been out here almost 10 years in July. I never had any problems. Never had any problems.
So like in 10 years, like no one's ever been lost and ended up there or
Mhm.
said like, oh, what is that tiny house in the distance? I want to explore. Like that's never.
No, it's never happened because the
Wow.
I'm from the front of the property to where I am
Hmm.
because there's so many trees and I do
Oh.
have kind of like a driveway, but I let the trees kind of overgrow so that you won't really see like a clear path once you get to a certain point, and I like it that way.
Got you.
And at nighttime, I don't keep my porch light off on. I turn it off that way
Mm.
just in case somebody were to be walking or like
Hmm.
get lost or something, they wouldn't be able to see unless they just stumble upon my house. But most sane people are not going to want to walk that deep in the woods.
Right, right. That's smart. That's actually really smart. So you say you do have neighbors, they're just not close by. So is there like a series of tiny houses there or
Um,
trailers?
okay, so um, on the other side of the property,
Hmm.
there's a little tiny house community. I want to say it's three people in tiny houses. When I first got here, I was the only one, and I actually told the property owner, I was like, "Why don't you make a tiny house community? Because there's a lot of people. That's like a big problem. There's a lot of people that need a place to park their tiny house.
Hmm.
So I guess they just listened to me, but at first I was the only one.
Okay. So it's interesting because well, when I was in undergrad, I wanted to do that. I said when I become a licensed architect, I want to build
Mhm.
tiny home communities. And
Mhm.
I know of a place here in Ohio in Columbus. They have that, but you can rent it for a couple days, and it's like there's a trail around there, so you can walk trails or have bonfires and things like that. But I want to do
Mhm.
something like that and like actually rent them out, like year
Mm.
leases and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
So
cool.
yeah, that's it's cool that you said that.
Is that is that noise? Is it loud? Because I can move.
No, no.
Okay.
What is? I can hear something.
My neighbor is
Oh, it's like
she's
mowing.
doing, yeah, she's doing something. But if
Okay.
it's loud, I can move.
No, I hear you clear. I hear you clear. So when it came to your tiny house, did you have any input on the design, or could you reached out to someone to build it for you, right?
Yeah.
Or talk about that. Like, what exactly? How'd you come about?
So I was looking for a builder. I initially thought I was gonna have to get a tiny house that was pre-built, and
Hmm.
but I just kept searching. I kept searching. There was a tiny house in Vermont that I really liked, but it had RV hookups, and
Mm.
it just didn't feel right. I was like, I'm gonna really struggle to find a place to park it, and then the cost to move it, I was like unsure about it. So I just kept looking, and I stumbled across this guy. I can't remember if it was on YouTube. I don't know. I was every day I was searching, every
Hmm.
day I was looking,
Hmm.
and he had a tiny house. It looked very similar to mine that he had posted online, and it said that it was an off the grid tiny home, that it was for sale. So I contacted him and I was like, "Hey, I saw your house online. Is it still for sale?" And he's like, "I actually sold it." He said, "But I can build you whatever you want."
Hmm.
So I just told him what I wanted. I didn't really care so much about the design.
Hmm.
I just was what was important to me is that I would be able to live in it off the grid. So I have a catwalk upstairs. It connects my loft to another loft, and I didn't ask for that. He just felt like, oh, she has two little ones, and
Hmm.
maybe this would be beneficial to them. And upstairs I have kind of like slats. It's kind of like a gate that wrapped around, and I can actually close it. And he just put that in there just for safety, because at the time my youngest was a year old.
Oh, like a guardrail
Yeah,
wrapped around it.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Cool. Okay. So like, does it come with like a warranty at all? Like, what if is it on you if like the roof leaks or something?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
It's. So initially, when I first got my tiny house, Randy, the guy that built it, he didn't know about solar, so he outsourced it. And
Mm.
the guy was kind of new, and he didn't wire it correctly, and
Oh.
it drained. So after a month of living in it, it drained my batteries,
Oh.
and so it was like August. It was August, and I didn't have any power, and I tried to get a hold of that dude. I couldn't get a hold of him.
Mhm.
I called my builder, and he found somebody locally that came and fixed the solar. But he any like anytime I need help or anything, there's some stuff I don't like. I really had to learn a lot when it comes to the solar.
Right.
And anytime I've had any questions or anything, and he's like a really busy guy. Like he has a big company now. His company has like bloomed, and
Mhm.
he gets back to me. But I mean, it's on me to like fix stuff. I mean, it is my house. Just like if you buy a house,
Mhm.
there's no warranty. It's like if something breaks down or
Mhm.
breaks or you gotta repair it, I have to do it.
Mhm. I just had it was I don't know what it's called, but some type of box in my heater went out,
Hmm.
and I had to replace it. And I'm just like, man, like if I was renting, I could just call the landlord. But
Yeah, I know. But it's, I the way I look at it is I don't have the monthly expenses like
mm,
another person would.
mhm,
I don't have electricity bill, I don't have a water bill, don't have a gas bill. I don't have any of that. And so it's like when something breaks down, yeah, it can be kind of like a hassle to get stuff fixed. And sometimes I don't always know what I'm doing, but
mhm,
I just figured it out. I just
mhm,
figured it out. I ask people, I go on YouTube, I
mhm,
Google stuff. I
mhm.
just figured it out.
Yeah, YouTube University is great. Like I've learned a lot
Yeah,
of stuff on YouTube.
definitely. It is definitely great. Like people like you're a small woman, you're out there by yourself. But I'm like, I've learned this. That's one of the main things that I've learned in being out here, just how like capable I am and how
Mhm,
resilient I am, and my desire just to want to like take care of myself and be self-sustainable.
mhm, mhm. That is so awesome. You mentioned so there's no bills, there's no water bills, no electric
Mm-mm.
bills. So okay, so
Yeah.
with solar, because I'm studying solar now for a project, and they're talking about well, I'm trying to figure out if we need to cover the entire roof. It's
Mhm.
a 3-story building, and it's a mixed use building. So it's like there's a restaurant, the
Mhm.
ground level, and 2 offices. Um, but this solar needs to power a lot. So we don't know if we need to cover the roof, but there's like
Mhm.
rules where in a commercial building you have to have so much space in between the solar panels to walk through, and
Mm.
then there's like some type of wiring and duct that goes in between. So I'm just trying to figure that out now for work. But
Uh,
is your roof covered in solar, or is it partially
it's
covered?
it's half covered. So I have 8 panels, and
Okay.
they're on one side of the roof. So what I do is like I have a video on my Instagram of when it snowed. I had to go up there and get the snow off. Another one of my tasks when we have snow, because my panels are on the roof, I have to come on top of my house and clear off the snow. I have 8 panels. You can't see them because they're covered. 4 on this side and 4 on this side. So I just take a brush and clear it off. It's not very fun to use your hands because it's cold, but I do what I need to do. Those are my panels. I do have enough power stored in my batteries to have power for tonight and tomorrow, but I just do this because I don't want the snow to melt, and then overnight it freeze and have ice on the panels. So it's not fun, but I would much rather do this to not having a monthly electricity bill. It's not for everyone, but it's what I choose. I just go up the ladder and it's on half of my. Now I do like when I'm cleaning, some of them I have to like sit on top of, but I'm just like, I mean, they're sturdy, but I just try to be careful too about them.
Okay, okay. And they're just mounted to the
Yeah,
roof
they're
exactly.
mounted. Now, if I was gonna do one thing differently, I would definitely not have them on the roof because it is a hassle when
Mm,
like it snows or something, you know.
mm-hmm.
It's a bit scary. My house is like 13 and a half foot tall, so I have to get up there with a ladder. And if there's ice and snow up there,
Ooh.
you know, it's cold. I had to be very careful.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can slip off. Water. So do you collect rainwater? You collect water? How does that
Okay,
work? Is
so
this?
on the roof
Mm,
around at the top of my house, I
mm,
have gutters and they wrap around and they're kind of they're positioned at like an angle.
mm,
And when it rains, the water just flow. It like trickles down into on the backside of my house, and it goes down into a big water tank. Like I have a 425-gallon water tank,
mm,
and that water tank is connected to a whole house filter, and the whole house filter is connected to my. I have a 12-volt water pump. So on the inside of my house, when I want water, I just it looks like a light switch. I just flip the light switch on,
mm, mm,
and it shuts on my water pump,
mm.
and it that's how water comes to the sink and the shower and everything.
Oh. So you have a separate restroom? Is there a restroom in
So
there?
inside I do. I mean, I have a composting toilet. Um,
Ooh, a dry toilet. Okay.
yeah. But we don't really use it inside unless it's like during the night, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
but usually so I have one inside and I have one outside too. And
Okay.
we just kind of prefer to go, it's in the woods. We just kind of prefer to go, you know.
It makes sense.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's inside there. But my bathroom is kind of like slash closet because it has my shower in there. Like I have a big like trough that's for my shower, and
Oh, that you
it
get
has
in.
like
You
yeah,
okay?
it's like
Cool.
it looks like a huge bathtub.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Is it like
and
metal? Like a metal?
yeah.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
so that's on one side. My shower and bathtub's on one side, and then the other side is like where we hang our clothes. It's like my closet area where we hang our clothes and
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Is there like a different? So with the shower head, like is it the water pressure? Any and even in the kitchen, is the water pressure different from what you're used to in the city or how you grew up? Or
So the water pressure for my shower, I changed the head on it so that it's low pressure, so a
mm,
bunch of water can come out.
makes
And
sense.
that's just because, you know, I do have to be mindful about how much water I use. I've never been without water out here,
Mm-hmm.
and so everybody that's on the property, they're connected to a well. And
Mm,
there was a couple of summers ago, we didn't get rain for a very long time, and the well dried up
mm,
and people were having to bring in water and I didn't have to bring in water. I still had like about 200 gallons of water, and I mean I was very mindful about our usage, you know.
mm.
Obviously, like I call them Hollywood showers, like I can't be in there for like 45 minutes,
Yeah.
but I mean I can't go in there. I can take a
Mm-hmm.
shower, I can wash my hair and do what I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't be in there just like chilling and singing, you know, having a little concert.
Right. Everybody sings in the shower.
Yeah.
So when it comes to food, do you just grow all of your own food? Are there butchers nearby? How does
Um,
that work?
so there are times where I grow more of my food than other times. One of the so every year I plant big. In the springtime, I plant big. But anybody that lives this way, they know that you're constantly fighting against the animals. Not only that,
Oh.
but like the elements and the animals. And if you have anything that is edible that you want to eat, the animals are gonna want to eat it too.
Mm,
Um, So there have been years where I haven't gone to the grocery store for to buy produce,
Hmm.
but to buy like other stuff. Um, but like right now it's kind of like half and half. But I'm surrounded by farmers.
Ooh.
There's a farmers market not too far from me. They like it's on every Saturday, and then in the summertime it's Wednesday too.
Hmm.
They sell all kinds of stuff there, and this particular farmers market, they're very strict as far as their guidelines to be able to sell there. And but people like farmers that sell like beef, pork,
Hmm.
I mean whatever you can think of,
Hmm.
they have it there. But I mean I still go to the store for certain stuff. Like I have my two girls.
Hmm.
They like Oreos, you
Hmm.
know.
Hmm.
I don't want to deprive them,
Right,
you know.
right.
Yeah. They like Oreos and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
but as far as my produce, I do try to grow as much as I can.
Hmm.
But sometimes I grow a lot of food and I wake up one morning and the deer have just come
Oh,
and it's like, what, what can
oh
what
man.
can I do? It happens. Like there have been times where I've been in tears, like where I've called my
Oh.
mom
Hmm.
because it's a lot of work, and especially in the summertime.
Hmm.
I wake up before the sun comes up. That way I can take care of the gardens and stuff
Hmm.
and because the sun like it can get to like 110 111 and up here
Hmm.
and it will it will just decimate whatever it is that you got growing. And so
Hmm.
yeah, I have to wake up super early before the sun. Sometimes I'm up at like 5 4:30
Hmm.
just re-watering stuff. That way the roots can be like doused in water so that way when the sun comes up
Hmm.
they don't die.
Yeah, it makes sense. And you've been doing this, is it 10 years?
Yeah,
Fifteen.
in July it'll be 10 years.
Wow. Okay, so whenever you visit a nearby town or go into the city, you don't do you miss it, or are you just like, oh, I can't wait to get out of here. I want to go back to my tiny house in my off-grid space.
Um, I don't miss it.
You
I
don't miss
don't
it.
miss it. I don't miss it. I had a good life before. Me and my oldest, we lived in a loft downtown,
Ooh.
and I had, I had the things that one would think that I would be happy, and I was happy, but I just felt some type of disconnect. I just felt like there weren't enough trees.
Mm-hmm.
I really miss nature, and I'm a person, I've kind of like struggled with anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
and being around the crowd and so many people and just the fast pace, I feel like being in the city, the pace is just so fast, and I I'm a thinker. I have to be able to sit and think about things and reflect.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no time to do that. And I don't like that. I feel disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like feeling like that. And so
Right.
I do go into town because the church that I go to is like an hour and a half away. I still go to the same church that I attended before I moved out here.
Okay.
Um, and so I go and I go visit my mom. I stay sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
there are times when I'm there. Like I'll visit my mom for like a week or 2 weeks, and being there for that long, it just drains me so much. I can see like a noticeable difference in myself.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of lose my spark a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I grew up like that. Like you mentioned, like anxiety and stuff.
Hmm.
I grew up like that. I never was a person that really liked crowds. I was
Hmm.
people would say I grew up a loner, and I'm pretty much still like that.
Hmm.
I don't go out. I don't hang out or anything. And I just this past September I went to New York, Lower East Manhattan, and I can tell you, just walking in the city and getting on the subway, it was so crowded. And I could
Hmm.
feel myself, like I could just feel the anxiety coming back from when I was a kid. And I was
Yeah.
just like, I can't wait to get to the hotel. So I
Yeah.
totally understand what you're saying. Um,
Yeah. I think because the way I am with people, like
mhm,
I love people. I like when people are around me. I want them to feel comfortable. So I'm a certain way, but that does drain you. It takes a lot out of you, and just interacting with people in general can be very draining.
oh yeah.
Um, so I had to be able to come and get find like peace and quiet and solitude and stuff.
Mhm.
I see why people, like when I go into the city, I watch people and I just sit back and look and I'm like, I see why people are so frustrated and why they're so
Mhm.
uptight and you can't be constantly going, going, going. People go to work and then they're in their cars for like an hour, sometimes more on the commute. There's
Mhm.
traffic, you
Mhm.
know. Especially here where I am, the people are not nice on the road. Like the traffic is horrible. Road rage is a big deal.
Mhm.
And they say Texas is one of the worst places to drive.
Really?
Um, yeah, and it's just constantly going, going. People don't have time to breathe. It makes me so sad. And it's like some people that ask it like, don't you want to go back to living in the city? Don't you? And I'm like, no, I don't. The only thing I can say I miss is having like a washing machine. That's the only that's the only luxury I could say I think about sometimes.
Mhm.
But other than that, I don't miss anything else.
So do you have to like go to a nearby laundromat, or do you like is there a method that you wash like in a bucket or something, or the river?
I have like a little crank
Ooh,
washing machine.
I've
It's
seen
it's
those.
small. Yeah, I can do like daily stuff and I did that for many years. That's what I used. And I would just take my like blankets and stuff to the laundromat.
Mhm.
But now I just pretty much I go to the laundromat like
Mhm.
once a week, whenever
Okay.
I go into town, I'll go
Mhm.
because it's just, I don't know, it's just easier because
Easier.
it takes up a lot of time to hand wash your clothes like that. And then you
Oh
got to
yeah.
wring them out and put them on the line. I don't use a dryer very often because
Mhm.
I like to hang my clothes in the
Mhm.
sun.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just easier to do it that way.
For sure, yeah. There was time growing up, there was one point where my father and my mom got a divorce, and my mom was on her own, three boys, and it was
Oh,
hard. So it was times, no electricity, or we had to wash our clothes in the tub. So I know how
yeah,
hard that is.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, you know.
and my mom, she wasn't doing it by herself. She made us work too. She's like, "Look, I'm not about to wash all these clothes. You wash your own school clothes." So,
Yeah. But that's good. Like I feel like when by her doing that, you guys know that you
mhm,
learn to value things. You
mhm,
learn to value. That's why I'm appreciative that I do live where I can go and go to a laundromat and that's another thing too, like living out here, I really learned just how precious water is.
mm,
And I'm so grateful like when it rains, I will and my rain tank is full, I
right.
will go outside and I will touch my water tank and I will thank God for it.
Oh
Um,
wow, wow.
because I know just how precious it is. I thank God for it. I said, God, I thank you for providing this water for me that I can, clean, that I can drink, and even the wood, those things people don't think about. It's real easy just to pay the bill and stuff like that, but
Mhm,
when you have to source it for yourself,
mhm,
you know just how valuable it is because if you don't have it, it's a struggle. Like I have to have enough water. I have to have enough wood in the wintertime
mhm,
so that I can cook and I can heat the home. It's not fun trying to sleep in like when your house is like 20 something degrees.
mhm. Have you ever had to do that? Like, have you had a night where it's like, oh, I don't have any wood, and
No, I've had so one year I was kind of back and forth a lot in going to the city because my mom, she's a nurse, she works a lot and there are times where I feel like she needs me. And this particular year I just wasn't here a whole lot to constantly stock up on wood.
mm,
Um, but I will go out in the cold. I will go out in the cold. I'm surrounded by trees. So even if that year I didn't have enough, I just had to walk the woods for a little bit, find like a fallen tree and just
mm,
cut it. I mean, it's not fun doing that when it's 10 degrees outside,
right,
but it's either work for it or you
mhm,
have uncomfortable sleep.
right, right. And like
Yeah.
honestly, like our great grandparents, they had to live like that.
Yeah,
U.S.
people really had to like work. They
Mm-hmm.
had to work. They had to do things the longer, slower, and harder way. Nowadays it's just so easy. We have AC, we have
Mm-hmm.
just so many luxuries that they didn't have back then. They had refrigeration, so for a long time, I didn't have a fridge. I didn't have a fridge. I had a cooler. Um, if I was gonna buy there, because there was a time when I wasn't eating meat,
Mm,
but my girls were, but I didn't. They were little, so it's not like I had to buy a bunch of it. So I would just go and buy it and cook it the same day. But there for many years, it wasn't until last year that we got like a little 12-volt RV fridge.
mhm.
But we managed. Like sometimes I sit back and I think about the stuff that I've done. I'm like, I don't know how I made it like that. And
Wow.
like now, it was a couple years ago. I bought a little butane stove. That way, in the summertime when it's hot in the house, I don't have to run the wood stove.
Mhm.
But for like 7 years in the summertime, I was cooking outside,
Oh.
and I was like, I don't know how I did that because it takes up so much time.
Uh huh.
I'm like, I don't know how I did that.
Mhm.
I don't know how I did
How
that.
do you do it?
I had a little fire pit, and then I also had a little camping stove.
Mm.
And for the majority of the time, every day, 3 times a day, cooking on the little camping stove. I when I think about it, I'm like, man, I must have been determined because that's hard. It's really hard. In the summertime, I would be so tan.
So in the kitchen now, like you have a.
It's a little butane stove, like a little tabletop. I can
I,
take it like when I travel and stuff. I can take it. I had to buy the little canisters of the butane.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, sometimes I still use the little camp stove. I just like cooking with wood. I don't know what it is, and I just like cooking with wood. My girls, they like it too.
Mm.
Um, but like if it's real hot, I'm just gonna use the little butane stove.
Cool. So inside the tiny house, like, do you have furniture? Is there like a space for sitting, like a living room area? Is it big enough for that, or is it just like?
So if you facing my house to the left, there is the kitchen area,
Mhm.
and then there's the open space, and then on the other side, that's where the bathroom slash closet is.
Mhm.
I don't. I'm not a big fan of furniture. Like even when I lived in like my loft and stuff like that, I did have like bookshelves and stuff like that, but I can't remember the last time I've owned a couch.
Mhm.
Um, like right now I'm sitting on the ground. I just like that. So in the tiny house, I feel like I thought about getting the couch, but I was like, I don't never have company
Mm. Mhm.
and it would take up too much space. And so I have two hammocks
Okay.
up. Yeah, and that my girls or anybody that comes over they can sit in.
Mhm.
But I thought about it, but I was like, it would just take up too much space. I don't ever have company, so it's kind of
Mm.
like pointless.
Yeah. So like your mom or any other family members, like they don't come over maybe to enjoy bonfire or something or.
Because they live so far.
Oh, okay.
They're like an hour and a half. I mean, that's not very far, but I'm usually the one that does the driving to everybody else.
Oh.
And it is kind of, some people would kind of say that the way I live is extreme. My family, they like their luxuries. They like the AC and certain things. And they are afraid to come out here because it's so dark. At nighttime, it's very dark. There's no lights out here. I think it's like maybe 5 miles to the nearest like street light.
Mm.
People, women, they don't want to drive. My mom is,
Mhm.
I mean, she'll come out here if she had to, but
Right.
yeah, but
Do you get like coyotes and stuff out there? What type of animals come around?
but we have coyotes, we have deer, we have wild boar, we have wild
Ooh.
turkey, raccoons, possums, skunk, armadillo, rabbit, road runners, what else? Kind of thing, various snakes, venomous snakes,
Mm,
scorpions.
this is about.
We have bobcats. The occasional, every now and then, a mountain lion will come through this area.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
But yeah, a bunch of scorpions in the summertime. They're everywhere.
So if you could add like any addition or expand your tiny house, or is it perfect, or is there anything you would want added to it? I know you said the solar
Um,
panels you'd rather have them off the roof, but like,
yeah.
would you want an extra space or anything?
No, I think if I was gonna change anything, I would probably I would make more storage. I would
Mm.
have more storage space.
Hmm.
I feel like I do have some, but I feel like I could use. It's always better. The more storage you have, better.
Mhm.
Because I don't like clutter.
Mhm.
And living in a tiny house, you do have to be mindful of the things that you bring in. So I have my two girls, and for birthday and Christmas, they get presents, and
Mhm.
it's something that I have to stay on top of, because if not, it can get too crowded in there. And they know, like, we live in a small space, whatever, if you bring five things in, you got to take five things out. So we're constantly
Mhm.
going through stuff to donate or give away. Because when you live in a small space, you can't have a lot of stuff.
Right.
So I would have more storage, and I would like an outdoor kitchen,
Mhm.
covered area where I get, that has a sink, and then maybe like an outdoor shower.
Mm.
Like on the back side of my house, have like an outdoor shower. I would like that.
Cool. That's awesome. On the channel, I'm gonna put this video on. I used to, just for fun, before I even worked in a profession, I would design tiny houses, and I would design things like outdoor showers too.
Oh,
It,
that's cool.
yeah, and do like renderings and stuff. So it's cool you brought that up. Earlier you said people can be draining. We don't drain you over on TikTok, do we? In the comments, do we? Are we
No,
too much?
so today, so when I got on the second time, I came on in the morning for like 30 minutes before the soccer game. And then later on, when I got back home, like
Yeah.
around 12, I got on.
Mhm.
I don't know what it was. It's just today, I had quite a few people just coming on saying weird stuff or just messing with me.
Mhm.
Today, I was a little bit bothered. I'm like, I'm not gonna, I tried to stay on for as long as possible, but I was like, I'm gonna get off, because it was kind of like, it was messing with me a little bit. I
Like
get
trolls.
people yeah, I get people that, sometimes people come in the room, and I don't know if you noticed, but I try to stay on top of the comments. I try to greet everybody as they come in,
Mm, you
but
do.
sometimes I do have more people that come in. Like one day, and I didn't even realize it, somebody said that, and this was my busiest day. They said that I had 289 people in my
Mm.
room. And I'm gonna miss some people.
Oh yeah.
And I do sometimes people, they get upset. They say, "Oh, you skipped my comment, or you ignoring me."
Mm.
And I'll, like, when I log off, I have so many private messages that I have to
Oh.
go through, and every time I come on live, so if I go on live maybe two times a day, when I get off, I'm getting like 30 messages each time,
Mm.
private messages, and I know a lot of them are messaging me for the wrong reasons, but
Yeah.
occasionally I do have certain people that are interested in the way I live, and they do have like serious questions about my setup and everything.
Mhm.
So I'm constantly checking, because I don't want to, like, a guy, he had been coming on my lives, and he asked me a question, and I told him to message me.
Mhm.
And he messaged me, but it was the day that I was getting my car worked on, and then when I got back home that night, I didn't check my messages. So yesterday when he came on my live, he was like, I sent you a message, but you didn't get back to me, and I could tell his feelings were kind of hurt. So when I got off, I messaged him, and I was like, hey, I'm sorry, I've just been busy. But people can be very sensitive,
Mm.
and that can be a little bit hard, because when people get sensitive, they kind of say certain things. They kind
Mm.
of say certain things, but
Mhm.
it is a little bit hard, dealing with all the men folk on there constantly coming at me, and I'm
Yeah.
like, this is not why I'm here. I know
Yeah.
that people are gonna come into the room for the wrong reasons, but I'm hoping that they will stay for the right reasons.
Right.
But it can be a little bit tough.
Yeah, I see it. And sometimes I'll comment and it'll get missed, but like I don't trip about it because I understand. Because like, well, I was telling you how on one of my other channels I go live every day. And you were asking, you were like, how are you live on YouTube but on here? So on that channel, we basically we have watch parties, and there's have you heard of Twitch?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Twitch streamers, a lot of them ask YouTubers or TikTokers to post their videos or
Hmm.
stream their videos because it helps them with popularity and it brings more people over to Twitch. We just have a watch party with people streaming. So, I have my moderators in there. So sometimes I used to be in the chat talking with people. When you went off live yesterday on TikTok, I went over because they were live watching one of the streamers, and there was this guy in there just he was being racist. He was N word this, N word that. Oh, look at that N word. I had to block him. I'm like, I feel like I have to block somebody like every day because people just love to troll. I don't like you said. People are frustrated, so I think they come online and they want to feel powerful because maybe they
Yeah.
don't feel powerful in real life. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. My daughter, she said something like that earlier because she was like, Mama, what's wrong? You seem a little bit bothered. And I kind of talked to her, and she is one of my moderators.
Okay.
So sometimes she comes on and she will mute people. And she tells me, she's like, Mama, just don't listen to them people. Like, they're nobody. They just trying to take their frustration out on you. Um, so I don't know. Usually I don't get too many people that mess with me. Today was just one of those days, but man, I don't know how you deal with it, like dealing with it every day. That's a lot.
It is a lot, and I think I found that it's been an escape finding your TikTok live every day.
Oh,
So, cause like every night I was over there, and we do exactly what we do over on TikTok. We talk about food, we talk about how we grew up, like we just randomly talking about things, watching the Twitch streamers. But every once in a while, somebody will come in and just say some crazy crap, and it's just like, dude, you're killing the mood. Like we're having a
yeah,
good time here.
yeah.
So, and it was one guy I had to block. He was disrespecting one of the women over there, and he was just he. I'm not even going to say what he was saying, but he was very rude and being inappropriate.
Uh,
And I'm like, dude, he was a moderator. I gave him a wrench weeks ago, and before he was cool, but I guess the girl had her picture in a profile. He found her attractive, but he just started saying all this stuff. I'm like, you cannot talk to people like that. Like,
yeah.
and she's a married woman. She's like, dude, stop
Yeah.
disrespecting me.
It's kind of it baffles me that how men can get online and they can attack women. Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
when I go on live, I'm very mindful of what I'm wearing. I try
Mm-hmm.
to be covered up. It's covered, like I wear my dresses, I try to be me, but I try not to show any skin because I don't want to give anybody the wrong impression. Like I had one guy, he came on today and he was like, "You seem like you're very promiscuous."
What?
And I'm like, yeah. And I was like, why would you think that? And he asked me if I was married, and I'm like, I don't answer questions like that. Like, that's not what I'm on here for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be like, no, I'm not married because then they're going to feel like that's the invitation. So I just say,
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
and so I'm like, I don't answer those questions. And he's like, see, that's why you're promiscuous. I'm like, what about me screams promiscuous? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I
Some.
think guys feel like if they feel like you're by yourself,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, well, you need a man or you must want a man or it's like, come on, man. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And I think I've seen that over there a couple times. Like, oh, you need a man. I'm like, how are you telling her what she needs? Like, did she say this? Did she announce that? Like she's talking about a tiny house right now. We're talking about off grid living. Like, stay
Yeah,
on the page. So
I
it's ridiculous.
you know how men are. You know how they are.
Yeah, like I said, I see it all the time. It's wild.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it is draining dealing with so many men on my lives because I'm not that. Okay. I had one boyfriend all through high school. I haven't been in many relationships.
Yeah.
I've just focused on other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, I have my girls and they're my focus. I'm not worried about other stuff. And so I've just not been, I didn't go clubbing. I wasn't one to party. I've just always kind of stayed to myself. And so the fact that I'm having to interact with so many men daily, it can be a little bit much. It can be a little bit much sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
It is a bit much. But I just try to tell myself like, you know, just not to take anything personal, not to let stuff, their comments and stuff bother me. Like I had a guy come on today and he said some nasty stuff and I was like, ugh, why do you have to come on and look at me like that? Like
Right. Right.
I
You don't. You
you know,
don't.
it,
You don't give off that energy. Like when I first jumped on the page, I didn't, I don't know what's wrong with some of these people. I don't.
Yeah.
It's just disgusting. And that's like, I guess that's the opposite of what, because you say you had a YouTube and you would do
Yeah.
hair videos. What was it, mainly women in those comments?
Yeah, it was mainly women. It was mainly women. It's so funny. I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, when I was on YouTube, my audience was mainly women. I did have men that would watch me too. But it was mainly women. And when I got on YouTube and I was doing hair videos, it was like YouTube was still very new,
Mm,
and there wasn't very many like mixed women on there that had like similar texture hair in mine. And I was like, I could get on and like, just share my journey and the stuff that I deal with my hair. Growing up, my mom didn't know what to do with my hair. She was struggling. So I'm like, it got to be other people out there dealing with my same stuff, but
mm-hmm.
it was just mainly women. Now, my issues that I had with on YouTube was because so that's kind of like when the natural hair movement kind of came about. And there were a lot of black women that felt like because I'm mixed, I can't say that I have natural hair. I can't
What?
say that, like, yeah, because my texture is a little bit different. I can't say that I have natural hair because I haven't had to face the same type of challenges that's like fully black. And I'm like, okay, my mom is black.
Right.
To me, that's the blackest thing you can experience is to have a black mama. That is the blackest experience to have a black mama, like,
Mm-hmm.
but there are a lot of people that don't feel like I'm black. There are a lot of like that one guy that came on and he was attacking me. He was like, you need to say that you're white. Your father is white. My
What?
mom just didn't raise me that way. She taught me that you don't deny me or your dad. You're
Mm-hmm.
both. Like you can't say that you're one or the other. And that's a problem that I've faced. Like, yeah, I know you see that I constantly have to answer questions about what I am.
Every lie.
And yeah, and it's like that I get kind of because I deal with it in real life. Me and my girls we go out and I deal with it in real life. And I know people are curious. I don't have any problem with that, but sometimes the way people respond to it, I'm like, oh, are you curious or you want to tell me what you think I am or what you feel like I should be? So
Mm.
that's what I had to deal with a lot on YouTube. I had to deal with a lot of, and it sucks. I hate to say it, but it was a lot of black women coming at me and just, yeah. So
I believe it, and that's crazy to say. It's not natural because they don't think you're black. That doesn't make any sense because I'm thinking when I think of natural, it's like so there's no chemicals, right? Like,
yeah, yeah.
like so,
And now they say so I think okay, my hair is very versatile. I can't really do it anymore, but before when it was a lot shorter, I would wear like a fro.
okay.
It's too long now and it's too heavy for me to do that. But depending on like so if I get out of the shower, my hair looks completely different. It's hanging, my texture is different, and it just all depends on what I do to it, what I put in it, or if I don't put anything in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I used to straighten my hair. I used to flat iron my hair, and one of the reasons why I stopped it because I was like a person they were always thinking that I was something else, and that kind of bothered me. I'm like, I want people to know
Mm-hmm.
who I am. I want a person to look at me and be like, oh, there's black there. And but people still had a problem with that. They would say that I did something to my hair to make it the texture that it is, and I'm like, look, it grows out of my head this way.
Right.
I may comb it out. I may do stuff to make it, look a little bit different, but this is my hair. Like, what are you guys talking about?
People are crazy. Like it's the same with those people. They probably were stressed out in life and they wanted to go online and tell someone about themselves. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Well, I really, really appreciate this. I think the way you live is awesome. Like
I
I,
appreciate that.
yeah, I would tell my dad like I want to live off grid or I want to try it or or just living in like close to wilderness in a way, like in the trees and nature and being able to grow food and stuff like that. My dad was like, really? That's so like it's not convenient. Like it's a struggle. I'm like, I don't think it's a struggle. I think it's awesome. I think it's how we should live, to be honest. But I don't know. A lot of people don't agree with it, but I think the way you live is awesome. And 10 years doing this, wow, just wow.
I I appreciate that. Like anytime somebody um can you hear the donkey?
You got a donkey? Okay, I heard some.
Mhm. That's so cute. Um, anytime somebody compliments me or they tell me, that they appreciate how I live, it makes me happy because I've gotten so many like so much criticism and negative comments about it. And but it makes me happy because there are some people that recognize it. But a lot of people like, why you want to live that way? Like it's so hard. And like I say on my lives, life is hard in general. It's hard to have a 9 to 5 and go to work every day and pay bills and stuff like that. You just choose. I say, choose your heart, pick your heart. This is just the heart that I choose. I do give up certain luxuries, but to me, it's worth it. I would never tell a person that works a 9 to 5, lives in the city, has a mortgage. I would never tell them that the way they want to live is wrong. It's not for me, but it's not wrong. I feel like everybody should live the way they want to live.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that you're right about that 9 to 5. It's stressful. Like I get so, and I'm looking forward to this summer.
Oh, okay.
So but this summer I'm not working. Like, well, I have my YouTubes and stuff, but I want to travel. I want to road trip. So I'm just planning everywhere to go. I just want to get on the road and just go places, and I want to
That's
document it on the Gates 3 Design channel. So I'm
that's
looking.
cool.
Yeah.
I really like that. So I kind of like daydream about getting a camper or something
Mm,
and just road tripping. Like
mm,
I really want to do that. My oldest, she's like, Mama, that's not safe. That it wouldn't be safe. But
mm,
I've met some women that do it. Um,
mm,
so I really think about it. Like I like driving because you get to take your time, you get to
mm,
sightsee, and
mm,
I don't know. Like I think there's so many beautiful places here in America that you know I don't know. I just want to
mm,
experience. I want to go sightsee. I want to do all the things, hike everywhere,
mm,
take all the pictures.
Yep, yep. That's how it was when I the last time I went to Phoenix. I stayed in Scottsdale, and I really wanted to go to the Grand Canyon, and they have this glass walk. You can walk over the Grand Canyon and see through it. That drive was 4.5 hours, but it was the best 4.5 hours ever because driving between mountains and just seeing, it was just beautiful. I did not want to leave. I did not
Nah.
want to leave. So, but there's parts of the Midwest I do like. Like I love Tennessee. I love being up.
Hmm.
We talked about Gatlinburg. I love
Yeah.
Gatlinburg. Um, last time I was there, I was looking at like prices of cabins for sale there, because
Hmm.
like I would love to have like a vacation home, there.
Yeah.
Like that would be great. So, and then you can just rent it out
Yeah.
sometimes. So, but yeah, like the way you live, I think it's great. I'm glad I found your channel on TikTok. I don't know if you want to. You should come back to YouTube. YouTube's quite nice. I mean, except the
I
comments, but
I thought about it. I don't know what happened to my AdSense account. I tried to log on it today and it said that it couldn't find me. So I don't know if I have to set up another one.
you do. Yeah, that happened to me on my channel. I went without being a partner for so long. They
Hmm.
they just got rid of it. So you just have to make a new one. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Um, or
Yeah.
because you have subscribers on there, right? You have
Yeah, I
so
think I have like a little, I think I have 4,000 maybe. I don't
oh
know. It's something like that.
you're good. Yeah, because all you need is, I think you only need 500 now.
Oh,
So
okay.
that part is good. You just have to get 4,000 watch hours, and the
Okay.
easiest way to do that is to go live.
To go live.
Yep,
Okay.
the quickest way is to go live. Um,
Okay.
so once you meet those thresholds, you can then become a partner again. So,
Okay.
mhm,
Okay.
yep, yep.
Yeah, I tried to go when we talked about it the other day. Was it yesterday? Day before? I don't know. I
It's
logged
yesterday.
off.
Hmm.
Yeah, I went on and to see if I could go live, and it allowed me to. I just
Mm.
kind of like backed out of it real quick, but it was gonna let me go
Yeah, like yeah. If you do start going live, let me know. I want to, I'll be in the comments chatting away. So, well,
I thought I was like, how could I do both? Like go live on TikTok and go live on YouTube. I thought about that.
people. Oh, at the same time,
Yeah,
there is a
like
way.
have two different phones.
People do that. People do that with two different phones. Yeah, I've seen that. And then people, a lot of YouTubers say those YouTubers that hit like the 500,000 subs to a million subs, they say TikTok helped blow them up on YouTube. That's
Mm.
that's why that's why I created on TikTok because I was going to start putting snippets on there, but
Mhm.
I just couldn't get people to listen to it. So it's like it wasn't
Oh.
working for me. So but yeah, I think it'll be great. I think you'll blow up pretty quick on YouTube. Well, it was nice talking to you. Nice learning about the tiny house. This is that was pretty great. So, do you plan to go live on TikTok
Yeah, I'm
today
gonna go
or?
live in a little bit.
Okay.
I'll go live. I'll get on a little bit. See what I can make. All right.
All right. It was nice talking to you.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good one.
Everyone, I'm Tabitha and this is Little Japa Tiny House. I'm gonna give you a tour. It's an 8 by 18. It was built by Randy Jones from Incredible Tiny Homes. He used reclaimed wood to build it, and I live completely off the grid. It's set up to live completely off the grid. There, that stores my battery, my water heater, inverter. Since I'm not hooked up to the city or water, that's my 425-gallon water tank, and I have a water catchment system, gutters around my house. So when it rains, the gutters catch it and it goes into that water tank. There's a filter on the inside, and there's one right there on the outside. And I have a water pump that pumps that water to my into my water heater if I need hot water, and into the sink in my shower on the inside. Nice big window for a breeze. I really like that window. That's the window to the king size loft. I sleep there. That's the kitchen area. That table, it actually folds down, which is nice because it allows for more space in here. House. That's my water pump. That's how that works when I need water. Right there, that's space for a refrigerator, sliding door. Since I'm not hooked up to the city or water, I have a humanure composting toilet. So I just fill it in with mulch or wood chips, and when it gets full, I take it out, and if you wait a year, you can use it for compost. It's excellent compost. And that is my shower. The ladder to go upstairs. Might be a bit messy up here. Forgive me. So that's my gate. I have a 18-month-old, so that keeps her secure up there. And the cat walk all the way across. The little one sleeps over there. Nice windows for a breeze and for a lovely view at night when the stars are out. It's really nice. I'm not big on furniture, so that's a hammock right there, and I'll normally have it hanging across, and it works just fine. So there you have it, Little Japa.